Section 2.3.3, Judicial Activism versus Restraint. Hello, I'm Dr. Adam McKee, and today we're diving into a critical topic from my book, Criminal Justice, an overview of the system. We'll be discussing the concepts of judicial activism and judicial restraint, and how these approaches influence the Supreme Court's interpretation of the Constitution. Let's get started. The Supreme Court has two primary ways of interpreting the Constitution: strict constructionism and contextual interpretation. Strict constructionism maintains that the Constitution should be read exactly as it is written. This approach aligns with judicial restraint, which is based on the idea that changes in policy should be made through legislative enactments that represent the will of the people rather than through judicial interpretation. Judges who practice judicial restraint believe that the courts should defer to the decisions of the legislative and executive branches unless there is a clear constitutional violation. On the other hand, contextual interpretation argues that the Constitution should be understood in light of current events and issues. This approach aligns with judicial activism, which calls for the court to take an active role in correcting injustices when other branches of government fail to do so. Judges who practice judicial activism believe that the courts have a responsibility to protect individual rights and ensure justice, even if it means interpreting the Constitution in a broader context. While the Warren Court was known for its liberal activism, it is important to note that activism can come from either side of the political spectrum. For instance, a conservative court can also engage in judicial activism by making decisions that expand the powers of law enforcement or limit the rights of criminal defendants. In any case, judges are limited in their ability to pursue activism by the legal framework in which they operate. Federal judges can only interpret the law through the resolution of actual legal disputes, and plaintiffs must have legal standing to ask for a decision. Additionally, the case must present a category of dispute that the law in question was designed to address, and it must be a complaint that the court has the power to remedy. The federal courts are thus courts of limited jurisdiction because they may only decide certain types of cases as provided by Congress or as identified in the Constitution. Despite these limitations, the Supreme Court's rulings have a significant impact on the criminal justice system, and the justices are often called upon to make decisions that go beyond a literal reading of the law. Their interpretations can reflect their own personal beliefs and political leanings, making the court's policymaking role just as consequential as acts of Congress and executive decisions of the president. For example, landmark cases like Brown v. Board of Education and Miranda v. Arizona demonstrate how judicial activism can lead to significant changes in public policy and the protection of individual rights. In Brown v. Board of Education, the court's decision to end racial segregation in public schools was a clear example of judicial activism aimed at correcting a profound injustice. Similarly, in Miranda v. Arizona, the court established important protections for criminal defendants, ensuring that individuals are informed of their rights before police questioning. On the flip side, judicial restraint is exemplified in cases where the court defers to the decisions of elected officials or upholds existing laws unless there is a clear constitutional violation. This approach emphasizes the importance of democratic processes and the separation of powers, arguing that unelected judges should not overstep their bounds and impose their own views on society. Understanding the balance between judicial activism and judicial restraint is crucial because it highlights the dynamic nature of the Supreme Court's role in shaping American law and society. While judicial activism can lead to important protections for individual rights and social justice, it also raises concerns about the overreach of judicial power. Conversely, judicial restraint respects the democratic process but can sometimes result in the perpetuation of unjust laws and practices. So, why is this topic so important? Recognizing the different approaches to judicial interpretation helps us understand the complexities of Supreme Court decision-making and the impact these decisions have on the criminal justice system and society at large. It also emphasizes the importance of judicial philosophy and the role it plays in shaping the laws that govern our lives. In summary, judicial activism and judicial restraint represent two distinct approaches to interpreting the Constitution. While judicial activism advocates for a more active role in protecting individual rights and ensuring justice, judicial restraint emphasizes the importance of deferring to the decisions of elected officials and adhering to the literal text of the Constitution. Both approaches have their merits and limitations, and understanding them is key to appreciating the Supreme Court's role in our legal system. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover, leave them in the comments below. See you next time.